Having someone like you around brings down the family's dignity. Could you please just turn around and leave? The exit is over there. Of course, I argued back, but the groom didn't like it and threw the congratulatory envelope I had given at the reception at me in a fit of rage. Can't you see you're out of place? Stop whining and get out. I'll call security. At my own sister's wedding, just because I'm not well educated, am I not allowed to celebrate by her side? How can he say such cruel things? My name is Ryan. Our family consists of my parents, my adorable sister, and me, making us a family of 4. When I mention having a sister, my classmates say things like, "Isn't it a hassle?" or "She must be noisy and annoying," but I've never thought that. Maybe it's because of the age gap between us. My sister's name is Emily. She always wears her black hair in twin tails and is truly adorable. My classmates mock me, saying that I have a sister complex, but I don't care. There's nothing wrong with thinking a sister who adores me is cute. Because I often turn down invitations from classmates after school or on weekends to spend time with my sister. My reputation as having a sister complex became well known at school. Then, when I was 15, right in the middle of preparing for high school entrance exams, our parents won a neighborhood lottery and were going on a tour trip. At first, they hesitated to leave us alone, but I assured them we could manage, as I was already 15 and Emily was a second grader. I told them we'd be fine and sent them off. It was just a short 3-day, 2-night trip. We could handle that much on our own. We were enjoying our summer vacation, looking forward to hearing all about their trip when they returned. Then came the news. The plane my parents were on had crashed. Because it was a lottery tour, the organizer contacted us, and I took Emily to the meeting place they specified. It was chaotic, with shouting, crying, and many people in shock. Emily was scared and started crying, which made everything even harder. We were told that the plane had crashed into the ocean due to maintenance issues, and the airline would cover most of the compensation. The tour company also promised some compensation and made apologies like the kind you could only see in a press conference in front of the gathered relatives. The bodies were being recovered one by one, and I had to go for identification. I informed my teacher, Mr. Adams, and Emily's teacher about what had happened, and they came to help. While I went for identification, I asked them to look after Emily. My parents had never mentioned any relatives, nor did I have any of their contact information. Ryan, stay strong. You can come to me for anything, Mr. Adams said, helping with the identification and the funeral. He assisted with the compensation procedures and even introduced us to a reliable lawyer. Emily, though anxious, followed everything I said. With the help of many, I somehow managed to get through my parents' sudden death. But problems remained. Not knowing any relatives meant having no family. Though I wanted to go to high school, I couldn't in this situation. Still, I needed a high school diploma for my future. After consulting with Mr. Adams, I chose to work during the day to earn money and attend night school to get my high school diploma. Mr. Adams said, "Even after you graduate, come to me anytime. I'll always be here to help." For work, I chose a construction job that paid well, even for someone with just a middle school education. While working there to cover living expenses, I also managed household chores and saved for Emily's school fees. The compensation we received was mostly spent on our parents' funeral and grave maintenance. The airline, a small company, went bankrupt due to the accident, and as a child, I had no idea how to seek additional compensation. The remaining compensation was used for Emily's high school fees, but it was still a tight situation. I decided not to touch our parents' inheritance so that Emily wouldn't feel embarrassed when she eventually got married. One challenge was keeping the fact that Emily and I had no parents from her friends. It's not that our parents weren't around anymore because they did something wrong, but the world didn't care and we were often treated harshly. I knew that there were people in the world who spread unfounded rumors and tried to exclude people who didn't have parents. Emily's friends might not be like that, and I could be overthinking it, but I didn't want her to have any unpleasant experiences just in case. So, I used a father substitute service during school events. The school was aware of our situation, so they carefully adjusted the schedule for parent-teacher conferences, allowing me to attend. Emily, understanding my efforts, never invited friends over to our house. It must have made her feel constrained. But I wanted to prevent her from becoming isolated at school if our situation was discovered. I felt guilty, but I was determined to ensure her once-in-a-lifetime school experience would not be unpleasant. At the time of the accident, she was in the second grade and must have wanted to rely on our parents a lot. It must have been really tough for her. But Emily never complained and continued to endure it. I wanted Emily to go to high school like everyone else, so I worked hard. By then, I had my high school diploma. So I took on night shifts and odd jobs to give her enough allowance so she wouldn't be embarrassed in front of her friends. She could participate in club activities as she liked and enjoyed her school trips. And when Emily graduated from high school, these struggles would be over. That was what I thought, but then it happened. Hey, Ryan, I need to talk to you. When Emily started with that, I was honestly about to tell her that I couldn't cover her college expenses. If she really wanted to go, she'd have to get a scholarship. I want to go to art school. What? Art schools, depending on the institution, can be extremely expensive. Public universities do exist, but only a handful of people can get in. I've heard that even talented individuals find it difficult. I'm sorry. I can't afford that. Why not? Just take on more jobs. I really want to study art. Do you even know how much art school costs? We're barely managing as it is. It's not that simple. I wanted to support Emily's dreams. But with my current salary, it was impossible. Especially since finding a better paying job immediately with just a high school diploma was unrealistic. Why? I'd been holding back all this time. I couldn't invite friends over in elementary school, I missed out on summer camps and outings. I didn't get new clothes or enjoy fashion. That's the same for me too. I had made Emily endure a lot. But I wasn't just playing around either. I had longed to experience club activities, sports festivals, school trips, and cultural festivals in high school. I wanted to go to college and work with art, like my father. Reaching my breaking point, I spilled everything. Had Emily simply expressed her desire to attend art school, I wouldn't have exploded like this. But her suggesting I take on more jobs when I was already working as hard as I could was too much. Couldn't she say something like, "I'll get a job too, or I'll apply for scholarships"? I had given up my dreams after all this struggle, yet I found myself jealous of Emily, who was able to experience what I had wanted. I thought she understood me. I couldn't stand the idea that Emily was pursuing her dreams in college, built on my sacrifices. I'm not working just for you. I can't put up with your selfishness anymore. What? You're my brother. You should be doing this for me. Emily, I got you through high school. If you want to pursue your own path from here, you need to bear that responsibility yourself. What? Why? I hoped this would make her reflect a little. I hoped that she would calm down and think more seriously about college. That's what I thought. Fine. I don't want to see your stubborn face anymore. Emily threw those words at me and stormed back to her room, and just left the house the next morning. When I checked her room, many of her belongings were gone. I thought it was just a temporary runaway, she'd be back soon. But Emily remained out of contact. Panicking, I called her classmates and found out she was staying at a friend's house, which was a relief. I went to her friend's house while she was out, apologized for the trouble, and compensated some money for living expenses. The friend's parents laughed it off, saying it was normal for a high school girl, but I felt nothing but shame. Still, they promised to look after her until graduation, so I gratefully accepted and gave them money for her stay. They must have felt something as parents that I couldn't understand. I'm sorry. Please take care of Emily, I said, handing over my contact information, asking them to contact me if anything went wrong, and returned home. I continued jumping from job to job. Despite having a high school diploma, without a guarantor, I couldn't get a stable job. I took on daily labor jobs like traffic control and event staffing, which hired quickly as they needed people. 5 years after Emily left, I received a call on my home phone, which rarely rang. Wondering who it could be, I answered. Hello, this is Ryan. Long time no see. Do you recognize me? The voice was unmistakable, even without an introduction. I hadn't forgotten for a single day since that day. It was Emily's voice. Emily? Yeah. How have you been? Good, it's been a while. Despite our falling out, her voice was warm, and I found myself smiling unknowingly. I didn't know what her plan was after high school. I knew that she didn't go to art school after all, but I had always wondered what had become of her. I'm getting married. What? I was genuinely surprised by her unexpected news. My fiancé is a wealthy man named Kenneth. Will you come to the wedding? I couldn't immediately comprehend who Kenneth was. But if Emily chose him, I wouldn't object unless he was a terrible person. Emily was no longer a child needing my protection. A wealthy man? Would someone like me be welcome? Though I had a high school diploma, that was all. I worried my background might tarnish her happiness. Then, would you come if I said it was a job request? Do you know about my situation? See? Now you'll come, right? Indeed, if she phrased it as a job, I couldn't refuse. Checking the wedding date, I found I had no work scheduled that day. In the end, I decided to attend the wedding under the guise of a job and confirmed my attendance. On the day of the wedding, the weather was perfect, a beautiful sunny day, the ideal auspicious day. The venue was an extravagant hall, clearly showcasing the wealth of the groom's family. With a wry smile, I approached the reception to greet everyone when Kenneth, Emily's soon-to-be husband, appeared. May I help you? He was tall, with brown hair slicked back and wearing a frock coat. Kenneth looked me up and down, sizing me up. His rude attitude gave me the worst first impression. And who might you be? Oh, you're Emily's brother. He said this after checking the register at the reception and seeing my name freshly written. Being late to your sister's wedding, huh? Must be nice to be so free. His words dripped with sarcasm, but I didn't react. I had expected something like this from our initial impression. Sorry. I was held up by a work meeting. I explained honestly, lightly bowing and apologizing. Work, huh? Yes. Anyway, are you planning to attend the ceremony dressed like that? Do you even understand the concept of TPO? Even without a college education, you should at least know that. Please try to be more aware of the situation. He was blatantly looking down on me, his face contorted with disdain. Well, Emily, my sister, said my usual clothes would be fine. This is why dealing with ordinary people is such a hassle. Kenneth scoffed at my response. I don't care what Emily said. Having someone like you around taints our family's reputation. I'm sorry. But could you please just turn around and leave? The exit is. He pointed to the exit. Over there. He spoke as if everything he said was undeniably correct. He must have never been contradicted before. But this time, I couldn't back down. No, I need to be let in. I'm here on work, after all. I couldn't abandon a job I had accepted. But Kenneth, furious at my response, threw the congratulatory envelope I had given at the reception at me. Can't you see you're out of place? Stop whining and get out. I'll call security. This was supposed to be a joyous occasion, so why was he so angry? And what had I done to provoke such anger? Hey! What do you think you're doing? Emily, summoned by the staff, arrived at the scene of our argument. In her white wedding dress, she looked stunning. You're bothering everyone. Emily! Why did you invite your poor brother? What? Showing up late and not even in formal attire, doesn't he have any manners? You'd have been better off hiring a stand-in if you were going to invite someone like him. I was dumbfounded by Kenneth's outburst towards Emily. Emily, although initially taken aback, quickly regained her composure. My brother was held up because he was at a work meeting. And this is his formal attire. Huh? Emily's voice had a tone of exasperation. Kenneth, do you even know who my brother is? Emily looked at him with a skeptical expression, making Kenneth fall silent. Just then, a staff member came running over, visibly relieved when they saw me. Ryan! There you are. Ryan, the equipment is ready. The ceremony will begin shortly. Hearing this, I shifted my focus back to work and left the scene. Apparently, Emily was explaining the situation to Kenneth after I left. Emily, what's going on? So you really didn't know? My brother is a freelance photographer. He publishes photo books under the name David Mitchell. Haven't you heard of him? Wait, David Mitchell? You mean the one who did? Yes, he's the one who photographed Jessica Brooks and Michael Reed. Kenneth reportedly turned pale at Emily's explanation. You're talking about the photographer whose photo books sell millions, capturing the most incredible moments, right? Oh my God, what have I done? Emily. What? I'm a huge fan of David Mitchell. This is bad, really bad. His photos of Jessica are otherworldly, they capture her best smiles. What have I done? Emily, help me. What is it? I said something terribly rude to a living legend. Oh no. Kenneth started to ramble about me, holding his head in his hands and crouching down in distress. You know, I did say my brother does day labor, but he makes $10,000 a day. Emily, knowing Kenneth's personality, hadn't explained the details about me on purpose. From now on, stop looking down on people based on their appearance. If you don't, I might call off the wedding. Emily reportedly said this expressionlessly, and I would have loved to see it. Soon after, my soon-to-be brother-in-law, Kenneth, came to me, apologizing profusely, almost groveling. Seeing Emily smiling with satisfaction behind him, I thought how solid my sister had become and accepted his apology. In the end, the ceremony went smoothly and grandly. The night before Emily moved into her new home after returning from her honeymoon, she visited me. Thank you for everything, she said, bowing her head respectfully. It felt like the traditional ritual of a daughter saying farewell to her father before marriage, and I couldn't help but get teary-eyed. It feels like I'm sending off a daughter. Maybe it's something similar. We laughed together, sharing drinks and reminiscing about old times. So, there was a bank book in the wedding gift. Was that? That's our parents' inheritance. I saved it for your wedding. I see. So, you paid for my high school expenses out of your own pocket. I was so selfish back then. Well, it's all in the past. I was pretty stressed out too. The alcohol loosened our tongues, and we talked honestly. I confessed that I had been jealous of Emily back then. Even after she left, I couldn't give up on my artistic dreams, so I chose photography, a relatively less expensive field, and started taking landscape photos and entering competitions. A talent agent who happened to see my work picked me to photograph new models, leading to where I am today. Emily teared up as I told her this. Even though it wasn't the same path as Dad, I'm glad your dream came true. Yeah, and I'm sorry for trying to crush your dream. It's okay. I was a child then and didn't understand your struggles. Thanks to you, I became independent and now have a family. It all worked out. We laughed together and toasted several times. I was surprised at how fast Kenneth's attitude changed. Me too. He's so fickle. He called you a god, yet didn't recognize you. Ha ha. But now I have a weapon stronger than money. When we have anniversaries or kids, I'll count on you. Emily, speaking with the ease of siblings, seemed to be joking. Can you afford me? I'm expensive. So, I responded in a joking manner. Then, I looked at Emily seriously. Emily, be happy. Yeah, thank you, my dear big brother. Seeing Emily's genuine smile, I felt all the hardships of the past had finally paid off. Since then, I have continued to take photos of Emily and her husband. My relationship with Emily's in-laws is also amicable, and I am able to witness their happiness. I pray that this happiness continues forever.